We all know that Rhea Ripley as Mami is a dominant, confident, and virtually unstoppable force in a WWE ring and a true leader. But even the strongest individuals go through incredibly tough and heartbreaking times. Today, we are going to be looking at a moment, a situation that was exactly that for Rhea Ripley. It's a sign of her journey that shows the real challenges and emotional struggles that can come with being a top WWE star. So, what was the heartbreaking moment for Rhea Ripley? Well, we are going to be exploring that right now because whether it was in NXT UK, NXT, and the main roster, Rhea Ripley has been a top star. Now, she has found a ton of success. She's also found some pitfalls that has really tested her endurance and the ability to overcome things. Case in point, 2024. While yes, it was a great year for her, think about it. She went from defending successfully the women's world title against Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber in her home country. She then feuded and actually beat Becky Lynch, one of WWE's top stars, at WrestleMania 40, and she was about to go into a feud with Liv Morgan before she suffered a injury. It was a backstage attack out of WrestleMania 40 in April at the hands of Liv Morgan. As a result, Rhea Ripley was sidelined with a grade 3 AC sprain and was forced to vacate the women's championship. Now, this springboarded Liv Morgan into superstardom, later beating Becky Lynch for the women's world title and becoming a top star, taking Dominic Mysterio and Rhea's spot in the Judgment Day. Now, upon her return later in the year, Rhea, she suffered a broken orbital bone that required her to wear a protective face mask while wrestling inside of War Games 2024. That also delayed WWE's plans and delayed WWE's feud with her and Liv and Raquel Rodriguez. Now, while speaking with the Wild World of Sports, Rhea was asked to speak on her injuries last year, stating that she learned a lot about herself while sidelined. She said, when you get injured, you learn a lot about yourself. And in 2024 was not kind to me. I did a grade 3 AC sprain and then finally came back. That was so tough. Not being able to do those things that I love, like going to the gym or holding my dogs, it was definitely a mental struggle and also a physical struggle. Training legs every day was terrible, but I finally came back and I got to go for my world championship again and try to grab that back. But then I broke my orbital bone. It was just injuries flying left and right. But I learned a lot about myself in that I can pretty much overcome whatever is in my way. That's such a strong thing to realize. And it is. It is. I don't think Rhea Ripley gets enough credit for the level of superstardom in which she brings to WWE. I think that was in case in point when we talk about her feuds with Becky Lynch, her feuds with Liv Morgan, and then obviously this year when WWE decided to spice things up and really pivot from what appeared to be the obvious, right? Most people anticipated, okay, it was going to be Rhea Ripley after regaining the Women's World Championship from Liv Morgan in January on the Raw Netflix premiere episode. She would just simply defend the Women's World title against Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 41. Bianca Belair earning the opportunity after winning Elimination Chamber, but WWE, well, they had different plans. They opted to have Io Sky beat Rhea Ripley in March for the title and make it a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. Now, Io Sky, she caught fire, and she is a big-time superstar, getting one of the best reactions in the entire company, right? Not just on Raw, not just on SmackDown, the entire company. Now, Rhea Ripley, she is right there, and she is still that superstar. But I also think that Rhea Ripley, obviously, she had her breakout year in 2023. But 2024, I think it tested her star power. It tested her ability to draw people in and get people emotionally invested in her. Think about this. She, entering 2024, was a heel. But the ability to have fans gravitate towards her, a feud with Nia Jax, and Elimination Chamber taking place in her home country really just flipped the script, right? And made her go from a heel to a babyface, and we were off and running. Because if you think about it, a heel Rhea Ripley versus a babyface Becky Lynch was the direction going into WrestleMania 40. But by the time we got to February, early March, Rhea Ripley was a babyface. WWE's plans were set in place, and they decided to do babyface versus babyface, which you usually don't get in a high-profile title feud at, let alone a WrestleMania. They did that. Rhea Ripley going through everything that she had to go through shows a testament to her toughness and resilience. It also shows, like, if you looked at the feud with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, I understand a lot of people crap on it. They're not high on this feud because it got extended so many times. This was supposed to be a one-off feud, okay? Liv Morgan has talked about this. Rhea Ripley has talked about this in the past. It was supposed to be a one-off feud, right? Liv, they had a ton of history, okay, because of their feud in 2023. And Rhea, in storyline, injured Liv, and she was off television for, 6 months, almost? And so when Liv Morgan returned in January of 2024, she declared the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, setting sight on Rhea, wanting to take everything away from her, and she did just that. But when Rhea gets injured, that wasn't supposed to be this huge moment for Liv, right? Like, I've talked about this before, but it's a situation in which WWE, they were just needing someone for Rhea to be cutting out a replace and back in the company, right? And so they're like, oh, well, we have Liv here. Let's just do that. And that's exactly what they did. The only problem is Liv injures Rhea. Okay? And so now you have to go on this, you have to wait for Rhea to come back, right? Liv catches fire. She's over like Rover. And, you might get 2 matches out of Rhea and Liv. But Rhea got injured again, so it delayed it, right? WWE, they had to go through with their War Games plans. They had to go through with the Raquel Rodriguez match for Rhea to get through to Liv. Like, there was just a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of ordeals. And they did, and it all worked out. But don't undermine the situation of where they went and how they got there. Because there was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of pitfalls. There was a lot of situations in which you had to overcome, and WWE did that. I'm very curious to see where WWE goes from here with Rhea Ripley as we go into the summer, as we go into 2025.